Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Tarot Lounge. I have my good friend here, my partner in true crime, Hershey the Shadow Reader, here to read with me again. So glad to have you, Hershey. It's good to see you.
Happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me again. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I think, with the last video that we did regarding the Madeline Soto case, I thought, man, this went over so well between the two of us. We've got to do it again, right? So this might be, you might be
Absolutely.
seeing us around, right?
I'm not mad about it. I'm ready.
I'm ready too. So today we're going to talk about a missing persons case, the Riley Strain case. This is a missing college student, 22 years old, went to Mizzou in the area that Hershey is around, I believe,
Uh-huh.
in the Mizzou area or the Mizzou, what is it called? Mizzou
It,
University.
yeah, it's Mizzou. Yeah,
Okay. And
MU, Mizzou University.
this this guy, 22, was on a formal, they had a formal sort of gathering, I guess, or whatnot. It's a break for students that are in the college area. And, this story really spoke to me because my daughter is 22 years old and she is in college as well. And I was like, well, let's see what Hershey and I can come up with as far as, what we can pull on some possible answers for this. I would think if I was the mother, going through this would just be one of the most toughest things to feel, to experience. And I just want to take just a few minutes here for a moment of silence to send some good energy out to their family, to their friends, all the loved ones, all the workers that are looking for Riley. I'm just going to take a few minutes here and I just want to just send that energy out. Okay. All right. Well, Hershey, what kinds of things now, the way that Hershey and I kind of read is that I will kind of look into the case a little bit. I always read it, without any information firsthand, the first time. But then I kind of get into the information and I sort of, look into the news and whatnot. But my friend over here, Hershey, she actually likes to just a lot of times just no interference from news, read cold. So I want to start off with what Hershey was gathering from her team on what had happened here. And then I'll kind of commentate and I'll pull some cards too as we go, about different things. But I'll let Hershey start off here. So what kinds of things were you seeing with this?
Um, well, normally my team usually can kind of pick up on the bad guy in a situation pretty easily, but we're not really getting that kind of read. We almost get the read and the feeling that um something in the pre-planning and maybe rushing um could have caused him to maybe not pay attention to something that could have been the reason why he was maybe having headaches prior to leaving Colombia. um I think that the um direction of him where he was as of maybe 3 or 4, well, I'll say 3 to 7 days ago, was maybe short term, not maybe amnesia, but maybe confusion. Maybe not understanding maybe where he was at or what his name was, or maybe something that was going on. Um, I feel like there's going to be something like in the debris. I'm not sure what exactly that means, but I feel like something more like is going to be found. I don't know if it's shoes or not necessarily a jacket, but something a wallet or something could be found in some debris. Um,
May I
I
ask you a question?
yes,
So let me just clarify. Do you believe actually that something may have happened even before the Tennessee trip?
I think so. I think he may have hit his head or something that would have caused headaches prior to him going. I think maybe he might not wanted to have gone before because of the headaches, but then I feel like there was like not necessarily like bad pressure, but I feel like he was getting a lot of pressure from buddies and frat brothers about going, about being there. But I feel like he was having headaches prior to going. I don't know if it was because he hit his head. I don't know if he was suffering from something more damaging from the pain he was feeling, and he didn't recognize it as something that could ultimately lead to something more final.
So it's almost like maybe like a symptom in a way. He was experiencing some sort of
Yes.
symptom that it might not have necessarily even like
I
been
feel like his
something.
speech would have been off. Yes, I feel like his speech would have been off, maybe slurred, maybe forgetful with forgetting, like to say door, like stumbling to say the word door or light or very easily understood words. I feel like maybe if they go back to the days, 1 to 2 days prior to him leaving for Nashville, I feel like they would. And with it being Mizzou, there's a lot of doctors and students there because it's a teaching hospital and college. It's a quite large university. So I feel like there would have been more to the story prior to Nashville that we just maybe don't have yet.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, so when he arrived in Nashville, what's your vibes? What's your feelings? What is your team telling you about what happened when he was actually in Nashville? Like the night that he was visiting the different bars and whatnot.
So what I picked up on was that he was kind of angered that he was put out. I'm assuming he was either thrown out or removed and alone, like just alone, cut off from a large group or a party. I got the impression that Cumberland River was too far. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know if they're going to find him before Cumberland River or if there's a distance because I don't know the area whatsoever. So um, I understand Cumberland River is too far, but I think that like he wouldn't have crossed that barrier. I feel like something's gonna happen to his whereabouts, or at least a more evidence of a timeline would be found prior to the Cumberland River. I feel like he wasn't drunk. I feel like he wasn't drunk at all. I feel like whatever was going on up here, that the 1 or 2 drinks he may have had would have intensified what was already maybe going on in the mind. As somebody
Let
that
me
suffered from aneurysms before, I can tell you that there's a lot of things that happen days before the
mm,
the bigger thing happens. And now that I know to look for them, I'm obviously very cautious with them. But if you don't know to look for them, you might not understand them quite the same.
do
Words, speech would be funny, hard to find certain words.
Do you think that there was, let me ask you, because I kind of, now that you say this, I'm feeling this energetic up and down, sort of. It's like maybe at times he was okay, and maybe
Uh-huh.
at times he was not. And it was
Right. Absolutely.
I feel as though it's a sort of a strange sort of
Yeah,
teeter
it's almost like a
totter.
misfire. And it's not a consecutive thing that's happening in progression, like, labor or contractions. It's something that is very far and in between, and that's why they're not recognizing the misfire as something other than what it is, and they're going to see him in many different states where maybe he's upright, maybe he's not upright, maybe moments to minutes or an hour or two later he can't maybe stand up straight, and then he'll get some kind of
Like a
control
sort of,
from the misfire going on that he
yeah,
can now maybe walk again or try to figure out how to say, who am I, what's my name, where am I at, and but the misfiring moments, there's no limb control, there's no command control per se.
well, that's very interesting that you say that, because one of the things that happened after he had been asked to leave the bar. Well, let me just kind of explain what happened when he was at Luke Bryan's bar at Nashville. He arrived with his brothers, and when he arrived with his brothers, they said that he was only served one alcoholic beverage. Now, he had been out prior to that to other bars with them, and they are, looking into that and investigating. However, at this bar, they had only served him one drink and two waters. And I believe that there was some sort of, he was asked to leave, but it wasn't like he threw a big, made a big scene or anything like that. He was just like, okay, as from what I'm understanding. And
Mhm.
on his way out, there was several surveillance videos where they caught him walking through. And you can see him, and literally doing exactly what you're saying, Hershey. So, there's times that he's stumbling. There is an actual time when he hit his head, um, walking during his wherever it was. I think he was trying to get back to the hotel room. And so he
Right.
hits his head in a surveillance video. You see that. Then listen to this. At one point in time, he actually comes across a police officer who's in a parking lot, and the police officer is like, "Hey man, how you doing?" He was doing something with the car. I think there was a burglary or something along the sorts. And Hershey, when I tell you this, he looks completely sober, completely normal. It does not look like he's inebriated, nothing. And
Yeah.
so, that was, I think, maybe the last time somebody had seen him, and he was heading towards the Cumberland. Well, there are a couple of TikTokers that have joined the like they were out helping search. The two TikTokers had found his ID, his debit card. Well, not his ID, his debit card. And so,
Really?
yeah, this all went down live. They were like, "Oh my gosh, we found his debit card. We've got to go." And so they phone up, the police. The police say, "Secure the scene. Don't let anybody come through," sort of a thing. Now, in this area, this is an area where they say there is sort of like a homeless camp. It's like kind of like a community of people that are homeless. They have tents, things like that down there. Um, so it was in that general vicinity. So yeah, that's kind of hitting pretty much so a lot of the things that you're talking about. It really adds up there. So, I'm there's also speculation from now this is, for entertainment purposes only, as always. This is just, from what I have watched in the news on through YouTube and whatnot. But there was something of a story where somebody is talking about a shirt that he had on, and that there was a person that had the shirt, but that
Mhm.
is sort of rumor, hearsay sort of a thing. So I don't know if that's gonna if maybe that's something on you hitting on, that they're going to find something else of his, or whatever it may be. Now there is a dam in the area, and I know that we were talking earlier and you hit on a dam, right?
Yeah, something came through to check lock and dam, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the area at all. So, um, I also saw something about MLK Bridge. I'm not sure what that is supposed to mean. I don't know if there is a Martin Luther King Bridge or if that's what the MLK means. I know from here where I'm at in the St. Louis, Missouri area, if you say MLK, you mean Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing MLK Bridge, MLK Bridge. I, I don't know, but if there's a lock and dam maybe somewhere around that area, that could be because they're wanting me to tie it to debris found. So, like, my stuff is just in words, and then as I connect it, I kind of do my own little auto writing, my automatic writing that I get from them. So if I take that and I go here, but then they're going back to the hundreds, not criminal, hundreds. I feel like he was with a very large group, but they're stressing that it's not criminal. Um, I feel like he would have gave something. See, and again, I'm seeing like that row of tents again. I'm feeling like he would have been like offering, like, because he is in a state of unsure of what's going on, and well, I don't need this shirt. You can have it. You don't have one, or my shoes, or I feel like he's offering up clothes for some reason. I'm not sure if he's hot, if he's going through some kind of temperature changes, with body situation going on. I feel like there's a large like drop, like
Well,
somewhere close, like a large drop that um he would have been dangerously close to this at some point. Now I just don't know exactly what that means.
I do. So let me explain the sort of the geography of the area that is where he was wandering into. So there's a lot
Okay.
of, I know one of the words that so Hershey and I sort of just talked a little tiny bit about this before we started this, and one of the words that she was talking about was concrete, right?
Yeah, I
That was,
got lots of concrete, like lots of concrete.
so there was in that area, there was like levels of concrete where it
Okay,
was going down. And so it was like a level here, a level here, a level here. Okay.
I got you.
So
Okay,
I believe the debit card was found at like the bottom level. So it would have been a very, and when the people are going into search, like they're in broad daylight, mind you, they're really concerned about the safety of people falling in that area and whatnot, because it's a slope, and
I got
it's a
you.
lot
Okay,
of concrete in the area. So
okay.
let's why don't we pull a few cards? What do you think about pulling a few cards on that campsite area?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see what I get. What I get.
Campsite. Clues to the campsite. Clues to the campsite.
Okay. So my first gut reaction is that in this campsite area there might be something more there, as far as like a clue, evidence, something like that, that could bring some clarity, because I got the shovel and I didn't feel like which was tool, spade, dig, or excavate. I don't feel like that's necessarily meaning that somebody is buried, like with a shovel or something along the sorts. I feel like this is more like there's something under something. There's something
Uh-huh.
under something. And then I got the deep woods, which is nature, forest, trees. So it's under some brush, sort of a situation. And I also got this visitor card, guest, passerby, or traveler. So there could possibly be like somebody in that community that,
Hearing the word transient. What would like transient? That would be somebody
that's
that's
that's like a,
homeless or something, right?
yeah, just
Okay.
like a drifter, like a, yeah, a nomad in
Okay.
a sense. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I got for the campsite area. What did you get over there?
So, in in retrospect, so I got the voices card, right? So when you look at this card, you see this person is hearing their own voice, but they can't understand what's going on. It's almost like they're tortured by what's going on in their head. I got that the victim engaged in unusual behavior. So, paired with the voices card makes me wonder, like, what kind of, and then, it's the smile now, cry later mask. So when you think about that, that's somebody that's struggling, maybe like I said, where he would have two different appearances. One person is going to see him as a standard passerby, and the next person may see him as inebriated or intoxicated, or and the word cripple keeps coming to mind. They keep saying, like, I keep hearing the word cripple, like somebody maybe saw him as a cripple, or as maybe
Okay.
not intoxicated, but like seriously hurt,
Mm,
seriously hurt.
mm.
I got that an interview will provide clue. I don't know what that clue could be, but I feel like if, and again, I'm hearing the word transient. So maybe if they start talking to some of the, I guess, the people in the tent, or
Yeah.
whatever, get more people, and maybe the reinsurance of, look, we're only looking at this. We're not looking at whatever you may have or may not, or, like, there's nothing criminal at this point. We just need to know, like, did he give anything else up? Like a jacket, his shoes, did he give his socks to somebody? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's going to be something else found, um in an area where transients could be involved.
I agree. I guess right now, I think that they've been interviewing a lot of different people in that community, and they've been kind of saying they, different things that they saw going on that night and whatnot. So, okay, well, what do you think about the dam? Do you think?
So when I hear lock and dam, first mind I think of is a lock and dam is a place that a cargo ship, or a larger ship that would need deeper or elevation, that would have to go into this area and be either rose or lowered in water pressure, right?
Mhm.
Um, I would hate to say that he maybe stumbled into that and maybe could be under it, maybe. I would hate to think that he would be stuck under some kind of hydraulic hoist, or, something like that, but that would be probably a lot of concrete, um, a lot of hinges. I'm seeing, like, very old, very, like, big parts, big, like, you would need
Like a ship?
large wrenches, and not your everyday tool bag kind of tools. We're talking huge tools that you would, need assistance with. I also, I don't know, I don't want to think the worst here, but if he is stumbled into something like a lock and dam, I mean, we could be seriously pressing for time to get to him. You know,
Sure, sure. Um,
I
you know, I think what I'm gonna do. because right now I think what the focus is where is he? So I think I'm going to ask the elements here. Show me within the elements in my tarot, if it's water, earth, uh, air. Show
Okay.
me here where he might be. I have to think on this one. I pulled the Queen of Swords. And I don't feel like this is telling me where he's at. I feel like it's talking about his head.
Wow. You're never going to believe this.
Did you pull the Queen of Swords?
No, I don't even have a tarot deck out, but I got water. Like NB, but it's all about water. It's I know my cards aren't showing up that great, but
Oh, that's okay.
There's lots of water going on in this card. I got detachment and reattachment, like they're sewing themselves back together again, like if they would have got caught in like a turbine or something that would have got ripped apart. This is probably the mother's energy. This is tears.
It goes out to her.
Displacement. You see, they're all disfigured, and and then I also got the beggar. So again, with this homeless kind of thing, feeling, I'm kind of getting.
I know.
I think we need to look at water, but that's just what my card.
King of Cups in reverse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing head trauma in water.
Yeah.
I really hope and pray that is not the case. And I want everybody. I'm so glad that everybody is out continuing the search. They've amped up the search. There's some other place that's come in to help them, which I think is good.
I would hope that they would do it in a smart way, though. Do it with the buddy system. Don't do it alone. Make sure somebody knows where you're at all times while actively looking, because we don't want another something, that would defer from the initial situation. So if anybody is doing it, I hope they're doing it very safely, using as much protection and as group effort as possible.
They've got an agency or something of the sorts that has come in to help the police department search for all this. And today, I believe they're actually draining or doing something with the dam. Now, here's my question. I want to know, because I'm really curious about this shirt, because this is something they're kind of talking about, like it's kind of hearsay sort of a thing. They're saying that a person, a transient person, was wearing his shirt from that night, that they saw vomit on the shirt. And they're saying that they're kind of, I don't know that they're looking into that. It's kind of getting kind of like, I don't know. I can't tell if it's accurate information or not, is what I'm saying. So maybe can we look and see, like, maybe does somebody have some of his belongings? Do you feel that? Or something of his?
I definitely do. And I know this sounds crazy, but I feel like it's more than just a shirt.
Really?
Like, honestly, I feel like there's something else, and I don't know if it's like socks or his shoes, or I feel like it would have been something detrimental to the person that needed it, but very non-detrimental to us. Like, if we don't got a sock, we'll go get a sock. We can usually just go get another pair of socks or something, or uh, yeah, it doesn't feel like a hat. I don't want to say like his wallet or anything like that. It feels
Like
maybe
clothing.
not. I don't want to say his pants, but it can literally be his pants or something. I feel like there's definitely something else that somewhere somebody's gonna understand it to be, and I almost feel like it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb because the people. I feel like somebody that maybe could be a worker or works with the homeless or the transients is going to recognize it as new clothes. Like, where did you get new clothes from? Or,
It's very
um,
interesting because there's a guy in there right now that works with that commune. He's on YouTube. I watched him this morning, and he was
wow,
talking about this shirt. He works to help them. I believe he works with them.
no
Just in
shit.
general, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
For real?
Okay, you're
Wow.
okay. You're 18 plus.
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
and if I can find, I need to start saving these links that I
So
am
I'm
watching.
hearing somebody say that some kind of distance is too far. That would be too far. I'm not sure, but they're saying that when something's going to be found or possibly, but it would be too far. Like there's no way that could happen by maybe land, but if it was done by water, I think it would be possible if it was moved through the water system somehow. And if they're backing the dam up, that means that anything that's like probably at the bottom, or they're going to like stir it, like churn it, and it's going to maybe cause things to rise up. But I think that if they look at ways of he couldn't have got here from here to here because maybe he's not seen on bridge cameras, but if the current carried it, it could have got to A to B effortlessly, so to speak.
So here's what I'm getting over here. I'm getting, let's see if I can get her in focus right there. The 6 of Wands here. So with this 6 of Wands, if you notice, look at all the clothing on that guy that's riding the horse up there. Um, I'm seeing our articles of clothing, an article of clothing as well. I really feel as though it's a shirt or a jacket. That's kind of what I'm
Yeah.
pulling.
Yeah.
Um, I see it in the water or near the bank
Right.
of water. But
Uh-huh.
there's a possible, and here's another thing that I pulled about it. There will be a message that comes through, whether that, and it says note, letter, communication, but I'm hearing verbal through from the people that are dwelling in the not dwellings. So here, this is, a house, trailer, apartment, cabin. It's a dwelling, but since it's coming in reverse here for me, it's not your typical
Uh-huh.
dwelling. So I'm seeing messages from the camp. There's going to be somebody in the camp that noticed something or heard something, and an article
Uh-huh.
of clothing by the water or in the water.
Uh-huh.
What did you get?
So I got cyclist, and I was like, okay, so a cyclist, right? Um, I know this kind of like is a stretch, but they paired it with the Ouija, right? So I feel like I don't want to say a psychic or anything, but I feel like a Ouija or a oracle or a Swami or something. I feel like somebody is literally going to innocently, literally lead them to
Something to finding some, yeah.
the the one, and again, with it being cyclist, this is an entertainer. This is somebody that like a pantomime or somebody that's got a balloon cart that goes out on the weekend and blows up balloons for a kid, or this is some kind of entrepreneur entertainer that possibly
Could that be a
kind of
vendor?
like, I don't want to say for shits and giggles, they're like, well, let me see if I can find him, and it leads them right to somebody that's going to be somewhere at, and I feel like they're going to be like at a landing kind of thing where I don't want to say like a, so okay, so basically what I see is like layers of concrete. Like I don't know if this is like a parking garage or something, but like a public access area where maybe there's some kind of like small festival or something, and I feel like it's going to maybe be around eclipse weekend, and I think that somewhere in the crowd something is going to be found somewhere close to the eclipse weekend that's coming up, because it's paired with combustion. The only combustion we've got coming up is the eclipse that's coming up on April 9th, I believe. April 8th or April 9th, we've got an eclipse coming up. So I think that some form of entertainer of some kind could see or lead them during some kind of festival, like maybe they're going to have some kind of eclipse festival, or a viewing or something, because they've got a good area to see. And I think that because of everything that's in that area already, I think that something could possibly be found um, while maybe watching some kind of entertainment, or an entrepreneur or something doing some kind of independent art of some kind.
May I ask you, do you think that that cyclist could possibly be a vendor?
Yes, strongly.
Well, let me kind of fill you in on something else that was part of his path from going from the bar to where that area that he was heading towards. There
Okay.
was there was a vendor along the way. I believe it was a food vendor or
Okay.
of some sort. And there was a little bit of an altercation, and I don't know if this is related or not, but it did make me kind of think of it a little bit. But there was a little bit of an, and this was caught on camera. There was a little bit of an altercation that was going on at that vendor area. And you can see Riley sort of kind of go around. He sees what's going on and he's like, oh, no, 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 and he's kind of like going around that. I'm wondering if that's part of this. I'm wondering, if that's, or if this is more like a different event than that.
I am, well, it could have led, like, if he encountered that in his walk, in this last walk where he was witness, where he was seen, captured on camera, um, to where I feel like something big is going to be found, possibly the weekend of the eclipse. So somewhere around that weekend, I'm not definitely not trying to get anybody's hopes up that um, it's etched in stone. They're going to see something or find something.
Sure, sure,
I
sure.
pray that what is found is maybe he's sleeping in one of those tents and he
Mm.
doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't realize he's missing. He doesn't realize, maybe he really don't know his name right now. Maybe there is some kind of amnesia going on and he's hurt, but he's okay, and he maybe is in a safe environment and whatever. Like that's my hope. That's my hope for the outcome. But whatever this big thing is that I feel is coming up for Nashville in the next couple to few weeks, I feel like is a big enough event that will draw enough people. And with this, not really set off like a circus event of people just looking, but I feel like a vendor or some kind of entrepreneur or entertainer could stumble upon something else coming up on this next thing that's coming up for Nashville, and I feel like it's something tied to maybe the eclipse or some kind of art show or something. Maybe it's a walk in the downtown area. I don't know, but I feel like there's something coming up in the next few weeks that is going to ultimately have enough people in one area to where something could be found.
Okay. All right. Well, what should we do? Maybe just one last final message. We'll do, what does our spirit guides want people to know about this? And what message do we need to relay? One last message for Riley Strain.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So so the two cards that came up was important details will not be revealed at this time to the public. So my mind thinks that they may be holding that for if it's found to be possibly criminal. Okay, they wouldn't want to reveal too much evidence, but I don't think this is the main card to focus on. I think it's this one, and its additional evidence will be found soon.
That's
Like
good.
something is literally feet away from them, literally feet away, but because it's buried under debris, it's intentionally maybe being moved or hidden so that it can't be found right now. But I would say in the next 6 weeks, some major evidence will be found.
So what I'm getting here with this, I got the 5 of Wands in reverse here, and what I'm seeing here is like I'm just seeing almost like a inflammation. As weird as that sounds, like
Yep.
an
Swelling.
inflammation. Yeah,
Yep.
and not. So I got victim in reverse. I don't think he was a victim of a crime. I could
I
be
don't either.
wrong. I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but
100% too, but I don't either.
yeah, I'm just that's kind of really what my cards are pretty much so saying over here. So one thing that I did want to touch on this, I have a daughter who's 22 years old, and I just want to talk to the young adults out there that are, it's such a great time in your life to be young and independent and having going and doing fun things and but I did want to mention to people, um, as young adults, parents and whatnot, it made me really want to think about talking to my daughter about bar safety and going out, staying, because I haven't had that talk with her. I mean, I guess I kind of have, but not a formal discussion. And I
Right.
really think that, I just want to, instill in her, this is just my thought, that, be safe when you go out. I'm not saying he wasn't being safe, but I think it's important to travel in pairs, and have a buddy with you. And if your friend looks funny when they're out, like it'd be like, hey, watch them, watch after them, go after them. I'm not saying putting any blame on anybody or anything like that, but look out for your friends, you know,
Absolutely.
and just try and stay safe that way, because even in some cases when you're do everything right, things can go wrong. Like look at Idaho 4, for example. Those girls were together, you know. So I think that just look after one another, and it's check on people, watch them, make sure they get home, and um, that's just kind of my final message on things, because we all got to look out for each other. It's a dangerous world out there anymore. So, you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. I've got my youngest is 24, and I absolutely know what you mean. He's not in the college scene, of course, but I can't help but, be glad he's safe. I know where he's at. I know he's probably just running to the store or running to the gas station because he needs something to complete his evening, or he's on his way to work or whatever the situation is. But he's only 2 years older than this young gentleman, and I don't know where I would be right now if I didn't know where my youngest son was at. He's and my youngest son is 6'4", and you know large, tall. He would stand out in a crowd, for height and various reasons. So all the things you think would make them obviously recognizable also kind of fades
makes
away when they're
yeah,
just unfound. So
yeah, yeah.
keep the family in your prayers. Keep your younger siblings and children in your thoughts. Whether they're going to college or not, regardless of their creed, their denomination,
Yep.
just look out for people, keep hope alive, and practice the buddy system.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
so much safer in the buddy system. It actually works. So
Well,
I don't
my
know.
heart, my
I
heart.
genuinely hope he's found and is reunited with his life, because right now his whole life has abruptly stopped, until, it knows whether to go forward or not. So I want him found and returned and safe. But until then, just be smart and be aware.
My heart and Hershey's heart, I know we feel the same. It goes out to the family and friends of everybody, and we're praying for you guys and sending our good intentions and thinking of you guys.
Absolutely.
Um,
And being here in Mizzou country, in Tiger country, where he went to school, like Columbia is sad, Missouri is sad. One of their beautiful seniors that was graduating soon isn't here to walk with his class to graduate. So there's a big part of Columbia that's rooting for him to be found. um Everywhere it's just good buddy. Me and my team, the most we keep hearing is good buddy. Like, he was a buddy, he was a good guy,
they
he was
said,
one of us. And
yeah,
hundreds are saying that. Hundreds, not a few. Hundreds are saying that. So
they said he was just a perfect kid. So,
yeah.
well, all right. Well, I'll tell you what, let us know in the comments how we did. Tell us if you like the way that Hershey and I read, together. If you have any suggestions for us, we love to do this with each other, and our energy vibes really well off of each other. I've really gotten to know Hershey and enjoyed getting to know Hershey. And this is just kind of this is my gig, our gig, I think, in a way. So let us know what you guys think, and leave us some comments, subscribe, like all the good things, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
All the YouTube things. Bye,
All the
everybody.
YouTube things. Bye, guys.